say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
Neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith break down Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford wins by decision, but stresses caution, recalling Gervin Davis's warning that Crawford could get in trouble if he chooses to engage too much.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
With Canelo's natural size and power advantage, Stephen A. believes Crawford must rely on defense, speed, and ring IQ rather than exchanges. The analysts highlight strategy over strength as a deciding factor. Meanwhile, Max Kellerman notes that Terence Crawford's overall skill set appears sharper, giving him a technical edge. He highlights Canelo Alvarez's durable chin and naturally larger frame with a bigger skeleton that offers strength in exchanges.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who, I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop.
Yet, in recent performances, Canelo hasn't looked as dominant or crisp as in the past, showing slight decline. This contrast of Crawford's skill against Canelo's size and resilience frames the fight as a battle of timing versus durability. Antonio Tarver, a respected boxing analyst and former champion, has openly expressed his support for Terence Crawford while at the same time acknowledging the massive challenge this bout presents. According to Tarver, Crawford has consistently proven himself across weight divisions. But this fight is on another level entirely.
In the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. It takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. And the indication of that is if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. He usually takes off, just feels the power, cruises, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's gonna start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
He stresses that it is not only Crawford's toughest test, but also a fight that Canelo Alvarez has never truly faced before. Timothy Bradley Jr., who has been known for his sharp boxing IQ, believes the opening round of Canelo versus Crawford will be a measured affair. He anticipates that both fighters will avoid unnecessary risks early on, instead using the round to analyze movement, timing, and openings. According to Bradley, Crawford is especially patient when starting big fights, as he likes to see what his opponent offers before setting traps.
We did all the build-up. They were nothing but respectful. I just feel that, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway, so you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to put adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for like Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. Yeah. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. Yeah. That he might do really well in there. So look, regardless,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit. Very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. And you can see the strength. When I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Canelo, on the other hand, has also shown a tendency to feel out the distance in the first round, making adjustments as the fight progresses. Bradley notes that this chess-like approach means the first round will not be fireworks, but a tactical exchange of information. Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, provides a unique perspective on this matchup. Khan stresses that Crawford has already proven himself as an all-time great within his natural divisions, particularly at welterweight. He warns that boxing has weight division for a reason, as moving up against naturally bigger fighters carries significant risks.
And, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. Callum, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston. And then Fernando Jr., from one of the biggest boxing named families, in the history of boxing, he's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real. Being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Khan believes there was no real need for Crawford to take on this pressure of facing Canelo, since his legacy as a great fighter is already established. Despite this, Khan acknowledges the ambition behind Crawford's decision. He sees it as a bold attempt to silence doubters and to achieve what few boxers in history have done, defy the limitations of weight classes. But Khan is clear. While Crawford is elite, stepping up against someone as powerful as Canelo is a dangerous gamble, one that could either elevate his status forever or put his career at risk. And we did all the build-up. They were nothing but respectful.
Fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch. He's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, he might. I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest. And he loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. And Crawford gets hit. He does get hit. That's why he's exciting. But he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to...
Promoter Tom Lafleur looks at the event from a business and spectacle perspective. He explains that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of the biggest names in boxing, each carrying enormous fan bases that stretch across different demographics and nations. Lafleur argues that very few fights in the modern era can compare to this one in terms of magnitude. The matchup is not only a clash of skills, but also a collision of two empires. Canelo's established reign as the face of boxing and Crawford's rise as a pound-for-pound king. Lafleur believes the hype is justified because it is rare to see two fighters of this caliber agreeing to meet, especially when weight differences and legacy stakes are involved.